been sitting here for 15 minutes because as soon as I started filming this episode, the train came through downtown, blaring the horn, and so here we are. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that wherever you are, you're having a fantastic day, and if it's not fantastic, I hope in 10-ish minutes from now, it's at least a little bit more fantastic. Man, I'm so excited for today's episode. Yes, I know, I'm excited for every episode. It's just the way I'm made. But I really am. I'm excited for what we're gonna talk about today. But before we get into that, we've got a lot of new subscribers to the channel. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. Thank you, button. Thank you for hitting the thing that makes it go subscribe. And thanks for the likes and the comments. Man, this is so much fun interacting with people wherever you are and talking about and sharing this journey of how do you take care of yourself, how do you be a better human, how do you be the most person you can be, how do you be creative, all the things. Like, there's so many more things, lots of many more, as my daughter when she was a little bitty used to say. There's so many more things I want to talk about, and I am excited to share those with you. That said, I need you to do two things for me, please. Number one, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, please comment. Right now, I am in a season where I can reply to comments and do all the things and hit all the buttons, and it's a lot of fun to do that. So please subscribe and share and comment. Do those things. Thing number two, I have started an Instagram page, which is the fine arts arm of this channel. Lots of photography stuff happening there. There's gonna be some painting stuff that's coming real soon. There's a lot of things that I wanna do with the visual arts outside of video on that page. So please, at FathersLion12 on Instagram, go follow along. I would love to make that thing grow because I think the two things growing together would be phenomenal. So please do that. Like and subscribe. Go over to Instagram. I'm gonna put a link in the description. It's a really quiet car. Wow. Hit the link in the subscription. Go follow that Instagram page. See the things, because there's stuff happening on that page that I'm not doing here on YouTube. So go follow along with those two things. Now, all of that said, let's get into today's topic. Okay, so as I've been doing this, it's a lot of electrically driven vehicles that are passing by, and the sounds make me feel like I am in the middle. Daggum car. They make me feel like I am in the middle of Back to the Future 2. Like, I feel like we're almost there. If I see a car hover by, I might just cut film and be done. I want to preface this discussion about the books. I want to preface this discussion about the books that I think everybody ought to be reading wherever you are in this season of life. And I want to preface it with a little bit of backstory, because I hope that it encourages you to take up reading even if you're not a reader. Here's why. Good morning, sir. So when I was in high school, I read a grand total of one book. I didn't open my textbook. I didn't do any of the nonfiction readings. Gum, it's busy here. I don't even know if we're gonna be able to make it. We're just gonna have to go with the traffic noise. That's what we're gonna have to do. I picked a very busy location. So when I was in high school, I didn't read a single book. No, that's not true. I read one book. It was called The Tin Man by Dale Brown. It's actually a really good book. I like that book a lot. I despised reading. Reading for me was hard. The words moved on the page. I was caught up in too many thoughts. I wanted to go outside and run or do whatever the thing was. I wanted to go do something. Sitting still and reading a book just did not click in my brain in high school. Then I got into college. 4 years and some victory laps later, I opened one textbook. 3.0 GPA, don't judge. But I did all of that without any reading. And then I got into actual adulthood, and I cracked open my first book that legitimately caught my attention. And I think it was Aragon. Aragon by, oh shoot, his last name starts with a P. I'll put the thing. Anyways, I read that book and it kind of caught my attention. Then I read the next book and the next book, and the next thing I know, I'm taking off. And there were some other things that happened. There were some other things that I changed in that season of my lifetime, But there's some things that I changed, and all of a sudden I was reading book after book after book after book. And if you're not a reader, I get it, I understand, I've been there. But I'm telling you, if you will take the time and make the effort and grow in the discipline of book reading, you will make changes in your life for the good, and it will be worth it. So what I want to talk about today are 3 books and a bonus that I think you ought to be reading right now in this season of life. Okay, so 2 relocations, 2 trains, and a leaf blower later. Let's get into the first book. All right, so book number 1, and we're just gonna have to pretend that cars aren't driving by every 5 seconds because they are. I'm gonna have to do a better job scouting locations. Yeah. All right, so book number 1 that I think everybody should be reading in this season right now is The Road Back to You by Ian Cron. Oh my God. Now, maybe you're not into all this like personality mumbo jumbo. You're not into the whole personality test quiz thing, whatever. That's fine. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But here's what I would tell you. I have not worked with a single educator or person who's not an educator, if that's not obvious. I haven't worked with anybody that used the Enneagram and came away a worse person. Personally, for me, coming back from our overseas experience, I was greatly shaped and helped by this book and by the Enneagram. I could do a whole video. I will probably do a whole video on just this. Good morning. The Enneagram, I think, is not just a personality tool, but it is a highly effective mirror. It is a highly effective mirror that lets you see into your own behavior and figure out why it is that you do what you do. And for me, that started with this book. This is not the end-all be-all. It is simply an introductory. It is a gate that, I saw that truck yesterday. It is a gate that opens you up to a path that allows you to examine why you do what you do and how to change those behaviors for the better so that you can be the true, authentic you that you were always meant to be in the world. And I'm gonna preface this by saying, if you haven't checked out Ryan Holiday on YouTube and Instagram and the internet, you need to go see Ryan Holiday, because his work on Stoicism and specifically on Marcus Aurelius' meditations. You know, I did a short reading from this in an earlier video. I'll try to put one of the clip thingies up here. I think you should definitely read from start to finish. Dog, bookmark, dog ear, make the notes. Do all the things with this book, because it is so empowering and equipping, and it will call out in you the best versions of you that you need. This book went with me everywhere. It goes with me everywhere. If I have to pare down my library to, say, 7 books, this will be one of them. Marcus still speaks to who we are today in our postmodern culture, our post-industrial world. His information and his insight into human experience is invaluable, and if you haven't read it yet, you need to. All right, the third and final book, and man, here's the deal. I could do multiple videos on each of these books and talk about how they are so impactful and so meaningful, and how they can help you shape things, how you shape your own world. Like, that's why I came to each of these books. I came to these books because I was trying to be a better human being. Because where I was in the season when I read these books, I was nowhere even close to being who I wanted to be in the world. And that is especially true. That is especially true for this book, 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. Now, if you haven't heard of Jordan Peterson,
so you need to put her name and then the Allen Salon.
The amount of resistance that I have been given to making this video today is astronomical. I'm going back to the trees, man. There are no people on cell phones and no cars when you film in the trees. If you have not heard of Jordan Peterson, then you are somehow living under a rock. I just can't fathom that he is not at least known by name in your world. That said, several years ago he published a book called The 12 Rules for Life. And I don't even know where do you begin? Every chapter digs deeper into how to balance out what we're told by postmodern culture and who we were made to be, who we were created to be. Like, one of his best chapters is take care of yourself as if you were someone worth taking care of. And like, I say that out loud even to myself, and I think, golly, that's harder to do than you think. Because when we look in the mirror, if we're honest with ourselves, a lot of times we think, man, I'm not really worth taking care of. I'm gonna take care of everybody else out in the world, but I'm not really interested in taking care of like who I am as a person. And that's unfortunate. It's terribly unfortunate, because you're a beautiful expression of what humanity could be and can be. You deserve to take care of yourself as if you were worth taking care of. And that reality is spoken about in this beautiful book right here. Now, there is a second follow-up book to 12 Rules for Life called Beyond Order. Of the two books, Beyond Order is my favorite, because it is a balance to having too much order in your life. And as a creative person, as a maker, a creator, a painter, a writer, whatever, of all those things, I get wrapped up in too much structure sometimes. And I needed that book. Having said that, you have to read 12 Rules for Life first. And like, I can't tell you the way that Jordan Peterson's work and this book have shaped who I am as a person. So those are the three books that I think every human being should read. Now, there is a bonus. I cannot believe that song is playing in the background. There's a principle that I live by when it comes to books and how to structure what I'm reading. Now, at any given time, I've probably got 3 or 4 books going. But Tim Ferriss, if you don't know Tim Ferriss, look him up on YouTube. Super cool guy, man. Like, the things he talks about, the way he views life, his work, I've learned a lot from him. I'm still trying to learn from him. But there was a video that he did where he talked about how he only reads fiction books before bed. There's another one of them Back to the Future cars. He only reads fiction books before going to bed. And I try to structure my own day that way. I read certain books during the day, and then I have a fiction book that I'm working on at night, because reading before I go to sleep is a big part of how I wind down for the day. If you're not reading before you go to sleep, you're probably missing out. It is a great way to get the body to just chill out. So that said, of all the fiction books I could recommend to you, this one is my favorite. I love this book. This is my summer book. Usually, when the school year ends and I take off to the wilderness to get away from all the things for a little bit, I will take this book with me. This book is freaking amazing. And it is about a samurai named Miyamoto Musashi. And Miyamoto Musashi is a true Japanese historical figure. He is a real life person. This book, however, is a fictional telling of a real life story. It's gonna take a year just to edit this video. One of the things that makes Musashi such an interesting character is that he is one of the first, if not the first, swordsman to develop the two-sword style. Right, so traditionally a katana is used with 2 hands, so you typically only see a samurai fighting with 1 sword. But Musashi, somewhere along the journey of his life, decided that he had 2 hands, why not fight with 2 swords? And that's a part of this book, and I love the way the story tells that part of his journey. But there's so much richness in the telling of the human characters in this book. Because it's not just about Musashi, it's about all these other characters that play in the background, and you know, they're here and then all of a sudden they're over there, and they're all connected and they're all interwoven, and it's a real life story of how human beings are connected on such a deep level. And then you get to see these two characters develop. There's Musashi and then there's the antagonist. And they have two radically different ways of looking at and viewing swordsmanship. Obviously, Musashi's is better. And you get to see that progression, and then you get to see them come together in a duel at the very end of the book. And I'm not going to spoil that for you because you need to read it. It's a thick, like this Joker is no joke. It is like almost 1,000 pages, if not more, of just dense reading. But it is captivating. Like it just snatches the attention from the very beginning. And before you know it, you're hooked into who is this wannabe samurai character who goes on to become the samurai character. And man, it's just freaking cool. So if you're looking for a fiction book to read, that's the one right there. That's all I've got for you for today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. It is an epic day. Despite the great many interruptions and cars driving by today, we have had an awesome opportunity. Please remember, like, subscribe, do the things, go to Instagram, follow the Instagram page. Help me grow these things so that we can reach more people and share more creativity, more beauty, and more awesomeness in the world. Have a great rest of your day. Until I see you next time, keep climbing.